Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church in Eugene. If the road looks rough ahead or your day is smooth sailing, we're glad you are here. If you're driving a caravan of despair or circling the block in a clown car, we're glad you are here. If you can't recall a memory from childhood or you feel like you're still 13, we are glad you are here. Just remember what your old pal said. Boy, you got a friend in me. Yeah, you've got a friend in me. And we are glad you are here. Your presence and absence have meaning to this community. We welcome the friend and the stranger into our flourishing community of justice, equity, transformation, pluralism, interdependence, and generosity. You have a friend in us, and we are glad you are here. Again, welcome to everyone here and on Zoom this morning. My name is Stace Ryerson, and I use she, her pronouns. This morning, I am wearing a speckly green, blue, and purple, swirly stole, white blouse, and a slightly edgy blonde haircut. Today, we celebrate 5 of our youth in a special coming-of-age service. I want to give you advance notice that during coffee hour, we will ask you to write on a card what you would tell your 13-year-old self. If you recently turned 14, I'm confident your advice will be especially helpful. This morning, Cecilia and Grayson will light our chalice. Okay. This morning, Grayson will light our chalice. Look to this day, for it is life, the very life of life. In its brief course lie all the verities and realities of your existence, the bliss of growth, the glory of action, the splendor of beauty. For yesterday is but a dream, and tomorrow is only a vision. But today, well lived, makes every yesterday a dream of happiness, and every tomorrow a vision of hope. Look well, therefore, to this day.
Thank you, Stace. Good coming of age Sunday to everyone. I'm so glad that you're all here. It's great to see a full house for such a special occasion. My name is the Reverend Jen Young-Sun Ryu. I use pronouns she and her. The Unitarian Universalist tradition upholds 3 special rites of passage for our youth. The first is child or baby dedication, where family and friends and congregation pledges to support the child within our shared UU values. And the second rite of passage is the one that we celebrate today, where teenagers affirm their faith and the congregation pledges to walk with them as they grow into the people they are meant to be. And then finally, the third is our high school bridging ceremony as they travel into young adulthood. The Unitarian minister, William Ellery Channing, reminded us that the great end of religious instruction is not to stamp our minds upon the youth, but to stir up their own minds, not to make them see with our own eyes, but to look inquiringly and steadily into their own, not to give them a definite amount of knowledge, but to inspire in them a fervent curiosity and love of the discovery of truth. And so we have done with Kino and Toby, Silas, Griffin, and Simon. They have looked inquiringly and steadily into the world outside and inside, and they are ready to tell us what they see. We do not stamp our minds upon the youth. Rather, we inspire a love of truth by showing them the light coming through many, many different windows. One light seen through so many different minds. One light falling upon so many different faces. One light nurturing and inspiring growth in so many different lives. Our children and our youth enter a world that seems to be growing more divided and entrenched in parties and factions. And so it is even more important that they go knowing that there is but one light, one love, one family. Come, let us prepare them a place in our hearts. Come, let us worship together.
Hi everyone, we're doing Time for All Ages today. My name is Juanito the Wolf, Ed Wolf. I use he, him pronouns. I have short cropped hair, mustache, soul patch, and wearing an aqua button-down shirt today.
Hi, my name is Joaquin Wolf. I use he, him pronouns, and I am wearing a blue button-up. Yeah. Mon God. God gave us fingers. Ma says, use your fork. God gave us voices. Ma says, don't scream. Ma says, eat broccoli, cereal, and carrots. But God gave us tasties for maple ice cream. God gave us fingers. Ma says, put your gloves on. God gave us raindrops. Ma says, don't get wet. Ma says, be careful. Don't get too near those strange, lovely dogs that God gave us to pet. God gave us fingers. Ma says, go wash them. And God gave us coal bins and nice, dirty bodies. And I ain't too smart, but there's one thing for certain. Either Ma is wrong or else God is.
This next one is called Helping. Agatha Fry, she made pie, and Christopher John helped bake it. Christopher John, he mowed the lawn, and Agatha Fry helped rake it. Now Zachary Zugg took out the rug, and Jennifer Joy helped shake it, and then Jennifer Joy, she made a toy, and Zachary Zugg helped break it. And some kind of help is the kind of help that's helping's all about. And some kind of help is the kind of help we can all do without.
Where the sidewalk ends. There is a place where the sidewalk ends and before the street begins. And there the grass grows soft and white. And there the moon sun burns crimson bright. And there the moonbird rests from his flight to cool in the peppermint wind. Let us leave this place where the smoke blows black and the dark street wind winds and bends. Past the pits where the asphalt flowers grow, we shall watch with a walk that is measured and slow, and watch where the chalk white arrows go, to the place where the sidewalk ends. Yes, we'll walk with a walk that is measured and slow, and we'll go where the chalk white arrows go. For the children, they mark, and the children, they know, the place where the sidewalk ends.
On Turning 10 by Billy Collins. The whole idea of it makes me feel like I'm coming down with something. Something worse than any stomachache or the headaches I get from reading in bad light. A kind of measles of the spirit, a mumps of the psyche, a disfiguring chicken pox of the soul. You tell me that it's too early to be looking back, but that's because You have forgotten the perfect simplicity of being one and the beautiful complexity introduced by two. But I can lie in bed and remember every digit. At 4, I was an Arabian wizard. I could make myself invisible by drinking a glass of milk in a certain way. At 7, I was a soldier. At 9, a prince. But now, I am mostly at the window watching the late afternoon light. Back then, I never felt so solemnly Back then, it never fell so solemnly against the side of my treehouse. And my bicycle never leaned against the garage as it does today. All the dark blue speed drained out of it. This is the beginning of sadness. I say to myself, as I walk through the universe in my sneakers, it is time to say goodbye to my imaginary friends. Time to turn the big first number. It seems only yesterday I used to believe there was nothing under my skin but light. If you cut me, I would shine. But now, if I fall upon the sidewalks of life, I skin my knees. I bleed.
Today is next Sunday. Next Sunday will be the final day for one of our teachers, and I want to take this time to show our appreciation and gratitude for Josie. Josie has been with us for the last year and has provided a consistent, lovely, friendly, welcoming presence for our youngest UUs. So thank you, Josie. Josie's moving to Bend. We wish you all the best in your move. Even on a day such as this, where we have gratitudes, and when we have celebrations, and when we have cake, and such loveliness in our world, we also know that some of us are carrying deep pain, great losses in our lives, fear for what may happen. I want you all to know that you are not alone in whatever you're feeling. You can always reach out to someone here. And maybe it's the person right next to you that you don't know yet. But I can tell you one thing about this community that I know for sure, that everyone in this community knows how to love. Everyone in this community knows how to listen and knows how to make a space for other people. And so, whatever you're going through, don't ever feel like you're in it all by yourself, please. This is a beautiful community, and we will support you always, no matter how little you are or how many years you've been circling this sun.
Hello. My name is Mel. I use she, her pronouns, and I am one of the co-coordinators of Religious Exploration, along with Sam. My co-coordinator, Sam, and I have had the joy of leading Coming of Age this year, something that is always rewarding and powerful. Today, we get to hear about the beliefs and the ideals of each youth, something Sam and I have watched grow and develop over the past year. The credos shared by our youth today do not represent the full encapsulation of their beliefs. After all, if somebody told you to stand in front of a room full of 100 people and tell them what you believe, could you do that in 2 minutes? It's a challenge, but it's an exercise that gives us a chance to reflect and interrogate the things we thought to be fact. Over the course of the year, each youth approached that challenge with a confidence you only ever know when you're 13. These statements of faith from 5 of the coolest, bravest kids I know can give us a snapshot of what it means to be human and what it means to have hope that a better world is possible.
Hello, my name is Sam, and I use she, her pronouns, and I am one of the Religious Exploration coordinators here. And I'm here to introduce Silas. Silas used to be the go-to duct tape artist in UUCE. If you needed anything made out of duct tape, he could create it. These days, I've seen less duct tape, but instead a confident young person who is steadfast in his beliefs and cares deeply for the world around him. Sometimes, he might be quiet, but he can have some very witty comebacks that are much sharper than swords. With a keen sense of justice and always critical, I'm proud to introduce Silas Wagner to read his credo.
Hello, my name is Silas Wagner, and I have been a member of this church my entire life. But even though I've been here for over 13 years, I've never been able to grasp the religious aspect of it. Our society's views on religion are very close-minded in a lot of ways. You either believe in God or you don't, but there never seemed to be an in-between. When I was 9, I asked my mom what we as Unitarian Universalists believed, and she told me about our values and how we interacted with the world. But I still didn't understand. Did we believe in God? Did we believe in a higher power? But all the answers I got were inconclusive and vague, to say the least. When I started coming of age, I had a better idea of what we believed, but I was still confused. Did we believe in God? Were we all atheists in search of a community? The answers I got were all slightly different, and I don't know what I myself believed either. When I met Zephyr, my mentor, we talked about other religions and how at its core, spirituality was very much the same in most places. We started going to other churches of all religions. In fact, we still plan to keep going to more after this. But the one thing I found was the same in all places we went to was the community. They were always kind and caring for each other and us, bound together by a common belief. So I thought, what is the common belief that binds our community together? And the answer was simple. Our values, our faith that we will always be together when we need it most, and that all humans of every race, religion, gender, and identity are valid and should be protected. I have a long way to go on my journey in life, and a lot to learn, but I think this is the best start I could have asked for. Thank you.
Sam and I will be the first to admit that we know very little about sports, a fact that causes Toby to roll his eyes, especially when basketball comes up and we say things like, Steph Curry isn't even that good at shooting the basketball. But underneath the bravado and the annoyance at our antics, Toby is an intelligent, driven young person who puts a premium on caring for all creatures, especially snakes, and the planet we inhabit. Next up, I'd like to invite Toby Shepard Wilder to share his credo.
What do I believe in? I know that I don't believe in a God or a Holy Spirit. I believe in many things, including justice, kindness, equity, connecting with nature, and being part of a community, and living in the present. Of those, the last three are the most unique to me. Nature is extremely important to me. I've spent so much time in nature throughout my life. My favorite part of nature is the living things, specifically animals, even more specifically reptiles and amphibians. Many of you may know that I am super into finding wild reptiles and amphibians. It has been part of my life since I was super little, and it is one of the most important things to me. Community is another super important thing for me. I love hanging out with friends, family, and other kind and loving communities. We're meant to stay connected with community. It's no surprise since we are humans. Humans have always been social animals and will probably always be social animals since it is such an advantage evolutionarily. That's a word. Another important practice that I believe in is living life in the present and not trying to live in the past or the future. I don't mean that you should not. I don't mean not to remember the past. We have to remember and learn from our mistakes, but then we use what we learn and keep our focus on the present. And I don't mean to not plan for the future. We have to make plans, but then we shouldn't try to rush into the future, but live in the now. As Master Oogway from Kung Fu Panda says, the past is history, the future is a mystery, but today is a gift. That's why we call it the present. And that is what I believe.
One thing I remember about Griffin is when he first joined my first summer camp, Dragons and Dungeons, and I learned very quickly how I misspoke about what the camp was about. Griffin has always pushed the envelope in games where he chose to be extremely creatively silly, and ironic. I know with his ingenuity to see the second life of pencils as a pencil salesman, and creativity in creating different worlds will help him thrive in all his future endeavors. Griffin Doppelmayr, I invite you to share your credo with the congregation.
Okay. Hi, I've been a part of this congregation my whole life, and most of you probably know me or recognize my face. I'm really glad to have been here, and I've been thinking a lot lately about the importance of community and how everyone should have a place like this where they are welcomed. This church is probably different for each of us. For me, it's been like a really big second home because I spent so much of my life in this building. Usually, I come here every other Sunday, and I've made a lot of great memories here. I don't really believe in God or just someone who controls the universe or a celestial being of any kind. I don't think there's a hell or some kind of eternal punishment after death. But I do think there may be something like heaven where we all just get to chill forever. Or something like reincarnation as a plant or an animal or whatever. I also believe that we should all seek out a community where we feel valued and safe. You should be able to talk to people about cool stuff you're doing or play games with them, and most importantly, eat lots of snacks. I think we should all spend more time in nature than we already do, and I need to start remembering that. I believe nature should be valued as much as everything else, and we should respect plants and animals, but probably not mosquitoes. Everyone has a different interpretation of what nature is, and there isn't just one definition. Different people could think of nature as a forest, or maybe a rock in your backyard, and some mountains, or even the ocean. So basically, I believe we should just go outside someplace, talk to people, eat snacks, and be happy.
Joaquin Wolf made his UUCE stage debut in our 2023 holiday pageant as a Scottish pine tree. No, the pine tree was not originally Scottish. Kino brought that twist along with a fairly impressive Scottish accent, all on his own. He's always coming up with new and creative ways to make his mark on the world, including the physical mark of building a popsicle stick house for months in the youth group room. While I'm not sure if we will get a revival of his accent work, I want to welcome Joaquin Wolf to share his credo with us.
My name is Joaquin Wolf. I use he, him pronouns, and I am 13 years old. I live here in Eugene with my dog Goosey, my mom Jill Switzer, and my dad Ed Wolf, who you might know from occasionally playing percussion during service. My sister Lee is currently finishing her freshman year of college at the U of O, double majoring in music and Spanish. But here's some more about me. I was born in Bloomington, Indiana on March 1st and moved to Eugene when I was only a couple months old because my dad got a job at the U of O and still works there today. My religious journey so far has been interesting and still ongoing. The earliest memory I have of going to church is bouncing in between the Catholic churches of St. Peter's and St. Jude's for a couple of years before landing at St. Mary's Episcopal Church until COVID happened. During those years, I would often sit in the middle of Mass and think how stupid it sounded to 7-year-old me for this random guy with long hair and a luscious beard created the world and all of humanity in 7 days. when I couldn't build a Lego set that fast. I would think that it had to be fake. An all-powerful dude who's invincible and could perform impressive feats that seemed impossible, walking on water, turning into wine, using five loaves of bread and 2 fish to feed 5,000 people. Now that I'm older, I'm still pretty confused about that. As Master Uguay said, who knows the ways of the universe? Accident or destiny, that is the secret. But but I know what I believe. I believe that there is a higher power. I don't know who. Could be God, could be Chuck Norris, could be Master Uguay. I also believe in heaven and hell, but probably not the same way you do. I believe that even if you arrive in hell, there's a way to get out by rehabbing, and then when you're fully recovered, you could go to heaven. No matter the deed they have done, they will eventually go to heaven, but it could take a very long time. Now, switching the topic, let's talk more about how I found Unitarian Universalism. I arrived at this church in 2022, being shy for a while until I became friends with people like Grayson, Cecilia, Silas, Simon, Toby, Griffin, and Eli. And I currently attend youth group every Sunday. When people ask me if I'm religious or what church I go to, and I say the Unitarian Universalist church, they have one of two reactions. It's either, huh, or oh, the hippie church. Which I get more than you might think. But honestly, I think that hippie church doesn't hit too far off the target, as the meaning of hippie somewhat means someone who is an advocate for peace and love. Now, I wouldn't call this a hippie church, but we share some values. This church is a place where so many people can come together and rejoice and mourn and celebrate different things in different religions. That's why I love it so much and why I've learned so much. I'm Joaquin Wolf, and that was my credo.
I can always count on Simon Rutledge to show up in a Christmas sweater in the middle of May. He marches to the beat of his own musical number. He lives with the joy and laughter of being the youngest child, and he's passionate about making the world a better place. He celebrates the individuality in everyone, and I think it's fitting that he will be sharing his credo with us on the first Sunday of Pride Month. Simon, take it away.
Hi, my name is Simon Rutledge. I'm 13 years old, and a lot of you have known me for a while. While I was writing this credo, I realized that if I wrote down everything I wanted to, it would take 10 hours to say. So please bear with me. I don't come here because I believe in God. I don't. I come here because of the community. I love the connections I've made with everyone here, and I really love how we all support each other. Whatever if it's a choice about religion or the best way to cook eggs, which is sunny side up.
Scramble!
There will always be someone to support you. While I was writing my credo, I read a quote from Kung Fu Panda Master Uguay. Your mind is like water. When it is agitated, Your mind is like water. When it's agitated, it's hard to see. But sorry. But when it settles, it's clear. I think that my faith is a lot like that. When I rack my brain and search for the answer, it's nowhere to be found. But when I sit back and think calmly, it's very easy to see. When I first started coming of age, I thought it was just another stupid thing that my parents were making me do. But now at the end of it, I realize that the lessons that it taught me are very important, and I'll carry them through with my entire life. Thank you.
Part of coming of age involves each youth partnering with a mentor from our congregation, someone who can be a confidant, offer advice, and be a part of a long-lasting intergenerational friendship. They can share their own journeys in faith and help the youth in and out of the classroom. I invite the youth up to receive their chalices now. In recognition of the roles mentors play with our youth, we wanted to take a moment to thank our mentors for their support, care, and attention over these past few months. We would like our mentors to present their mentees with a ceramic chalice representing the light and truth we hope they continue to seek in their lives. Silas's mentor, Zephyr Burton. Toby's mentor, August Sabini. Griffin's mentor, Amy Desert. Joaquin's mentor, Medley Wade. And Simon's mentor, Joe Dellert. We would like to celebrate these 5 youth for completing coming of age. Thank you.
We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. And now go out into the world in peace. Be of good courage. Hold fast to what is good. Return to no one evil for evil. Strengthen the faint-hearted, help the suffering, be patient with all, and love all living beings. Go in peace, everyone. Go in love.